Welcome to Code Your English, the home to learn and grow fast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another powerful episode here at Code Your English. I'm really happy that you are here today, taking time to learn something new and improve your English at the same time. Whether you are listening at home, walking outside, or sitting quietly somewhere, I want you to feel relaxed and comfortable. This is your time to learn, to think, and to grow. Today, we are going to talk about something very important, something very real, and something that many people experience in their daily life. The topic is, stop breaking promises to yourself. It may sound simple, but if you think about it deeply, it can change your life. This topic is not only about success or goals, but also about your relationship with yourself. Yes, the way you treat yourself, the way you trust yourself, and the way you grow as a person. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever said something like this to yourself? I will wake up early tomorrow. I will start learning English. I will exercise. Or, I will stop wasting time. I think most of us have said these things many times. We make these promises with good intention. In that moment, we feel motivated, we feel strong, and we really believe that we will do it. But then, what happens? The next day comes, and we don't wake up early. We don't study. We don't do the things we promised. And slowly, this becomes a habit. We say things to ourselves, but we don't follow them. Again and again, we break our own promises. And the truth is, this is very common. You are not alone. Many people around the world are facing the same problem. They want to improve their life. They want to learn new skills. They want to become better. But they struggle to keep their own words. That is why this topic is so important. Because when you keep breaking promises to yourself, something inside you starts to change. You may not notice it immediately, but slowly, you begin to lose trust in yourself. You start thinking, I can't do it. I always fail. I am not strong enough. And this feeling can stop you from growing. But here is the good news. You can change this. You can learn how to keep your promises. You can build self-trust again. And step by step, you can become a stronger and more confident person. In today's episode, we will talk about why we break promises to ourselves, how it affects our life, and most importantly, what simple steps you can take to stop this habit. And don't worry. I will use simple and easy English, so you can understand everything clearly and also practice your listening. So stay with me, listen carefully, and maybe today can be the day you start keeping your promises to yourself. What does it mean to break a promise to yourself? Now let's understand what it really means to break a promise to yourself. This idea is very simple, but many people do not think about it deeply. A promise to yourself is something you decide in your mind. It is when you say, I will do this, or I will change this habit. It is a personal decision. You are not saying it to other people. You are saying it to yourself. And when you do not do what you said, that is called breaking a promise to yourself. Let's look at some simple and common examples. Maybe one night you say, tomorrow I will wake up early. In that moment, you feel motivated. You imagine a better day, a more productive life. But in the morning, the alarm rings, and you turn it off. You go back to sleep. In this situation, you broke a promise to yourself. Another example is learning English. Many learners say, I will study English every day. Maybe they feel excited after watching a video or listening to a podcast. But the next day, they feel tired or distracted. They use their phone, watch videos, or do something else. And they don't study. Again, this is breaking a promise to yourself. Or think about exercise. You may say, I will start exercising from Monday. Monday comes, but you don't feel like doing it. You say, I will start tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes next week, and nothing happens. This is also a broken promise. Now, these promises may look small. Waking up early, studying for 20 minutes, doing a short workout. They are not big or difficult things. But the truth is, these small promises are very important. They are the foundation of your habits. They are the small steps that help you build a better life. When you break one small promise, it may not feel like a big problem. But when you do it again and again, it becomes a pattern. Your mind starts to learn something dangerous. It learns that your words are not strong. It learns that when you say, I will do it, it does not really mean anything. And this is where the real problem begins. Breaking promises to yourself is more common than we think. Almost everyone does it at some point in life. Even successful people have faced this problem. The difference is, they learn to understand it and change it. They learn to take their own words seriously. So in simple words, breaking a promise to yourself means saying you will do something, but not doing it. It sounds very basic, but it has a deep effect on your life. Because the way you treat your promises is the way you build your future. That is why it is important to become aware of this habit. Once you understand it clearly, you can start changing it. And that is exactly what we are going to learn step by step in this episode. Why do we break promises to ourselves? Now let's talk about something very important. Why do we break promises to ourselves? If we understand the reasons, it becomes much easier to change our behavior. Many people think, I break my promises because I am lazy or because I am not strong enough. But this is not completely true. The reality is deeper than that. There are real reasons behind this habit, and it is not simply because you are weak. One common reason is the fear of failure. Sometimes, when you promise yourself to do something, you also feel a little afraid inside. For example, you say, I will start learning English seriously. But then your mind starts thinking, what if I cannot do it? What if I fail? What if I don't improve? This fear makes you uncomfortable. So instead of trying and facing possible failure, you avoid the action. You delay it. And slowly, the promise is broken. In this case, it is not laziness, it is fear. Another reason is low energy, or what we call laziness. But again, laziness is not always a bad personality. Sometimes you are just tired. Maybe you had a long day. Maybe your mind is full of stress. Maybe your body needs rest. In that situation, even a small task feels difficult. You say, I will do it later, but later never comes. So the problem is not that you don't want to do it. The problem is that you don't have enough energy at that moment. Lack of clear goals is also a big reason. Many people make promises like, I will study more, or I will work hard. But what does that really mean? It is not clear. When something is not clear, your brain does not know where to start. So you feel confused, and you do nothing. For example, instead of saying, I will study English, it is better to say, I will practice speaking English for 15 minutes at 7 p.m. When your goal is clear, it becomes easier to take action. Distractions are another strong reason. Today, we live in a world full of distractions. Your phone is always with you. Social media, videos, messages, they are always calling your attention. You may start your day with a strong promise, but then you check your phone just for a minute. 1 minute becomes 10 minutes, then 1 hour. At the end of the day, you realize you did nothing. It is not because you are weak, but because distractions are very powerful and everywhere. And finally, one of the deepest reasons is not believing in yourself. If deep inside you feel, I cannot do this, or I am not good enough, then it becomes very hard to keep your promises. Even if you try, your mind is not fully supporting you. It is like trying to walk forward while something is pulling you back. This lack of self-belief makes it easy to give up. So when you look at all these reasons together, you can see something very important. Breaking promises to yourself is not just about discipline. It is about your emotions, your energy, your clarity, your environment, and your self-belief. There are many factors working together. And this is the key message I want you to remember. It is not because you are weak. You are not a failure. You are not broken. You are human. And like every human, you face challenges. But the good thing is, once you understand these reasons, you can start working on them step by step. In the next part, we will talk about what happens when we keep breaking promises to ourselves, and why it can slowly affect our confidence and our life in a deeper way. Stay with me. The hidden damage. Why it is a big problem. Now let's talk about something deeper, something that many people do not see clearly. What really happens when you keep breaking promises to yourself? At first, it may look like a small thing. You miss one day, then another day, and you think, it's okay, I will try tomorrow. But slowly, something starts changing inside you. This is what we call the hidden damage. The first and most important damage is the loss of self-trust. Think about it like this. If a friend keeps making promises to you and never keeps them, what will happen? Slowly, you will stop trusting that person. Even if they say something again, you will not believe them. The same thing happens inside you. When you say, I will do this, and then you don't do it, your mind starts to lose trust in your own words. After some time, even when you make a new promise, a small voice inside you says, you will not do it. This is very powerful and very dangerous, because without self-trust, it becomes hard to grow. Another feeling that comes with this habit is guilt. After breaking a promise, you may feel bad. You may think, I should have done it. Why didn't I try? I wasted my time again. This feeling of guilt can stay with you for a long time. It makes your mind heavy, and instead of feeling motivated, you feel more tired and negative. Then the next time you want to start something, you already feel low, and it becomes even harder to take action. Slowly, this also affects your confidence. Confidence is not something that comes only from big success. It also comes from small daily actions. When you keep your promises, even small ones, you feel strong. You feel proud. You feel like you can trust yourself. But when you keep breaking them, the opposite happens. You start thinking, I cannot stay consistent. I always stop. I am not disciplined. These thoughts reduce your confidence step by step, without you even noticing it. And then, there is another feeling, the feeling of being stuck. You may have dreams. You may want to improve your English, get a better job, become healthier, or live a better life. But if you keep breaking your promises, you don't take action. Days pass, weeks pass, sometimes even years pass, and nothing really changes. You feel like you are in the same place. This feeling of being stuck can be very frustrating. You see others moving forward, and you ask yourself, why am I not improving? All these feelings are connected. When you break a promise, you lose a little trust. Then you feel guilty. Then your confidence becomes lower. Then you stop trying. And then you feel stuck. It becomes a cycle that repeats again and again. That is why this is a big problem. Not because of the action itself, but because of what it does to your mind and your emotions. Every broken promise may look small, but it slowly builds a negative pattern inside you. So the key message here is very simple, but very important. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence becomes a little weaker. And every time you keep a promise, your confidence becomes a little stronger. The good news is, this works both ways. Just like you can lose confidence slowly, you can also rebuild it slowly. And in the next parts, we will talk about how you can do that, step by step, in a simple and practical way. Stay with me, because this can truly change the way you see yourself. Small story/real-life example. Now let me share a simple story with you. This is a story that many people can relate to, especially if you are trying to improve your English. There was a student named Amir. He was a kind and hard-working person, and he really wanted to improve his English. He knew that English was important for his future. He wanted better opportunities, better communication, and more confidence in his life. Every time he watched an English video or listened to a podcast, he felt very motivated. He would say to himself, "From tomorrow, I will start learning English seriously." The next day came, but Amir did not start. He felt a little tired, so he said, "It's okay, I will start tomorrow." Then tomorrow came, and again he did not start. Maybe he used his phone too much. Maybe he watched videos. Maybe he just didn't feel ready. Again he told himself, "I will start tomorrow." This continued for many days, then weeks, and slowly, even months passed. Every night, Amir would think about his goals. He would imagine himself speaking English fluently, talking with confidence, and feeling proud. But every morning, he did nothing. And because of this, something inside him started to change. He began to feel frustrated. He felt like he was wasting his time. He saw other people improving, and he asked himself, "Why am I not improving? What is wrong with me?" Sometimes he even felt a little sad, not because he didn't have the ability, but because he was not taking action. He knew what to do, but he was not doing it. This made him feel weak and confused. Then, one day, something important happened. Amir was sitting alone, thinking about his life. He was not watching videos, not using his phone, just sitting quietly. And for the first time, he asked himself an honest question. He said, "Why do I keep saying tomorrow? Why do I keep breaking my promises to myself?" And in that moment, he understood something simple but powerful. The problem was not that he didn't have time. The problem was not that English was too difficult. The real problem was that he was not taking his own promises seriously. He realized that every time he said tomorrow, he was slowly losing trust in himself. He understood that if he wanted to change his life, he needed to start changing his actions, even in a small way. So the next day, he did something different. He did not make a big promise like, "I will study for 2 hours." Instead, he said, "Today, I will study English for just 10 minutes. And this time, he did it. It was not perfect. It was not long, but it was real. That small action made him feel good. For the first time, he kept his promise. And slowly, step by step, Amir started to change. Not because he became perfect, but because he started being honest with himself and took small actions every day. This story is simple, but it is very real. Many people are in the same situation. They want to improve. They have dreams. They have plans. But they keep saying, I will start tomorrow. If you see yourself in Amir's story, don't worry. You are not alone. The important thing is to realize the problem, just like Amir did. Because once you see it clearly, you can start changing it, one small step at a time. How to stop breaking promises. Step-by-step solutions. Now let's move to the most important part of this episode. How can you stop breaking promises to yourself? Understanding the problem is good, but real change comes from action. And the good news is, you don't need to do something very big or very difficult. You just need to follow some simple and practical steps, and slowly, you will see a big difference in your life. The first and most powerful step is to start small. Many people make big promises like, I will study for 2 hours every day, or I will wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. These promises sound strong, but they are often too difficult in the beginning. When something feels too big, your mind starts to resist it. That is why it is better to start with something very easy. For example, instead of saying, I will study English for 1 hour, you can say, I will study English for just 10 minutes. 10 minutes feels simple. It feels possible. And when something feels possible, you are more likely to do it. Remember, the goal is not to do a lot. The goal is to start and be consistent. The next step is to be clear about your promise. Many people say things like, I will study, or I will work hard, but these sentences are not clear. Your mind needs direction. It needs a clear plan. So instead of saying, I will study English, you can say, I will study English at 7 p.m. in my room for 10 minutes. Now, the promise is clear. You know what to do, when to do it, and where to do it. This clarity makes it easier for your brain to take action without confusion. Another important thing is to keep it simple. Sometimes we try to change everything at once. We make many promises at the same time. For example, I will wake up early, exercise, study English, read books, and stop using my phone. This is too much. When you try to do everything, you often end up doing nothing. So focus on 1 or 2 small promises at a time. Keep your plan simple and realistic. When you succeed in small things, you will slowly feel stronger and ready for more. Now, let's talk about distractions, because they are one of the biggest reasons we break our promises. Your phone, social media, and other activities can easily take your attention. You may start your task, but after a few minutes, you check your phone, and then you forget your promise. So it is very important to remove distractions before you start. You can put your phone in another room, turn off notifications, or create a quiet space for yourself. When distractions are not around you, it becomes much easier to focus and complete your task. Another very helpful step is to track your progress. This means you should keep a simple record of what you do. You can use a notebook or a calendar. Every time you keep your promise, you can mark it. For example, you can put a tick mark or write "done." This may look like a small thing, but it is very powerful. When you see your progress, you feel motivated, you feel proud, and it reminds you that you are moving forward, even if the steps are small. And finally, one of the most important things, be kind to yourself. You are human, and sometimes you will make mistakes. Maybe one day you will not follow your promise. That is okay. Do not be too hard on yourself. Do not say, I failed, so I will stop. Instead, say, it's okay, I will try again tomorrow. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to keep going. When you are kind to yourself, you create a positive mindset, and this helps you stay consistent for a long time. So if you look at all these steps together, you will see a simple idea. Start small, be clear, keep it simple, remove distractions, track your progress, and be kind to yourself. These are not difficult things, but if you follow them daily, they can change your habits and your mindset. And the key message I want you to remember is this: small actions every day create big results. You don't need to do something amazing in one day. You just need to do something small, again and again, with honesty and consistency. That is how you stop breaking promises and start building a better version of yourself. Build self-trust again. Now let's talk about something very powerful: how to build self-trust again. If you have been breaking promises to yourself for a long time, it is normal to feel that your confidence is low. You may feel like you cannot depend on yourself, but the good thing is, self-trust is not something you either have or don't have. It is something you can build again, step by step. The first thing you need to understand is that trust always grows slowly. Just like in any relationship, trust is not built in one day. If someone breaks your trust many times, it takes time for you to believe them again. The same thing happens with yourself. If you have broken your own promises again and again, your mind will not trust you immediately. And that is okay. You don't need to rush. You just need to be patient and consistent. This is why keeping small promises every day is so important. When you make a small promise and keep it, something positive happens inside you. Your mind starts to say, okay, maybe I can do this. Then you do it again the next day, and again the next day. Slowly, these small actions start building a new pattern. You are showing yourself, again and again, that your words matter. Even if it is just 10 minutes of English practice or waking up a little earlier, these small actions are like building blocks. One block at a time, you are creating a strong foundation of trust. Many people make the mistake of waiting for big success to feel confident. They think, when I achieve something big, then I will believe in myself. But the truth is, confidence comes from small wins. It comes from doing what you said you would do, even in a small way. That is why it is very important to celebrate your small wins. When you complete your task, take a moment and feel good about it. You can say to yourself, I did it, or I kept my promise today. This simple feeling of success gives you energy and motivation to continue. You don't need to do anything big to celebrate. It can be a small smile, a positive thought, or even writing it in your notebook. The goal is to recognize your effort. When you appreciate your small progress, your mind starts to connect effort with positive feelings. And this makes it easier to stay consistent. Over time, something beautiful starts to happen. You begin to feel stronger. You begin to feel more in control of your actions. When you say, I will do this, you actually start believing it. And this belief changes everything. It changes how you think. how you act, and how you see yourself. So always remember this simple idea. Self-trust is like a muscle. When you don't use a muscle, it becomes weak. But when you use it regularly, even with small effort, it becomes stronger. In the same way, every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are training your self-trust. You are making it stronger, one day at a time. Be patient with yourself. Keep your promises small and realistic. Celebrate your progress. And slowly, you will see that the person you once doubted becomes the person you can truly trust. Speak directly to the listener. Motivation section. Now, I want to speak directly to you. Yes, you who is listening to this right now. Maybe you have been thinking for a long time about changing your life. Maybe you have made many promises to yourself. And maybe you have broken many of them too. You may feel tired, confused, or even a little disappointed in yourself. But I want you to understand something very important. Your story is not finished yet. You can change. Not tomorrow, not next week. You can start today. Not in a big, dramatic way, but in a small, simple, real way. You don't need perfect motivation. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need one small action. One honest step. That is enough to begin. Maybe you are thinking, I tried before, and I failed. That's okay. Failing does not mean you cannot succeed. It only means you are still learning. Every time you try again, you become a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little closer to your goal. What matters is not how many times you failed. What matters is that you are still here, still listening, still willing to improve. And I want you to know this. You are not alone. There are thousands of people, maybe even millions, who feel the same way you feel right now. They also want to improve their English. They also want to become more disciplined. They also want to stop breaking promises to themselves. You are part of this journey with many others. And just like them, you have the ability to grow. Sometimes the only thing you need is to believe that change is possible. And it is possible. You don't need to become a completely different person. You just need to become a slightly better version of yourself every day. One small promise, one small action, one small success. So I want you to make a very simple decision right now. Not a big promise, not something difficult, just something small and real. Maybe today you will practice English for 10 minutes. Maybe you will wake up a little earlier tomorrow. Maybe you will do one thing that you have been avoiding. Whatever it is, make it simple and do it. Because every time you take action, you send a message to yourself. I can do this. And slowly, that message becomes your belief. You have more power than you think. The power to choose, the power to act, and the power to change your life. It does not come from outside. It comes from you. So take that first small step. Not because it is easy, but because it matters. Not because you feel ready, but because you are ready to try. And remember, your future is not built in one big moment. It is built in small decisions, like the one you can make today. Now, before we end this episode, I want to leave you with one simple but powerful thought. Something you can remember even after this podcast is finished. Your life changes when you keep your promises to yourself. It sounds very simple, but if you think about it deeply, it can change everything. Your life does not change only because of big decisions or big opportunities. It changes because of small actions that you repeat every day. And those small actions come from the promises you make to yourself. When you say, I will do this, and you actually do it, something inside you becomes stronger. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to feel more confident. You begin to see progress, even if it is slow. And this progress starts to create real change in your life. But when you keep breaking your promises, the opposite happens. You feel stuck. You feel unsure. You feel like nothing is moving forward. That is why the difference between the life you want and the life you have right now is often very small. It is the difference between saying and doing. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You don't need to change everything in one day. You just need to respect your own words. Even if your promise is small, treat it as something important. Because when you take your promises seriously, you are also taking your life seriously. So from today, try to be a person who keeps their word, not only with others, but with yourself. Even if it is one small promise, keep it. And then, keep another one. Step by step, you will start to see a new version of yourself, someone who is reliable, confident, and strong. Always remember, your future is listening to what you say today, and your actions are answering that call. So make your words meaningful, and let your actions prove them. And with that, we come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. It really means a lot that you are here, listening, learning, and trying to improve yourself step by step. Just by being here, you are already doing something positive for your life. I hope this episode helped you not only understand your habits better, but also gave you some simple ideas that you can start using today. Remember, change does not happen in one big moment. It happens in small, quiet actions that you repeat every day. So take your time, be patient with yourself, and keep moving forward, even if the steps are small. And don't forget, this podcast is also your space to practice English. Try to listen again if you can. Repeat some sentences. Speak along with me. The more you practice, the more confident you will become. Learning English is a journey, just like building self-trust. It takes time, but every small effort counts. Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. You are capable of more than you think. I'll be back again with another episode, another topic, and more simple and useful ideas to help you improve your English and your life. So make sure you come back and continue this journey with me. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode.